News and Events COVID-19 on May 28, 2020. Note, this is a collaborative video made between Channel Knowledge About Coronavirus and Travel for All fanpage. Please respectfully welcome everyone. Following is the general news related to the world and events COVID-19 as follows. 1. U.S. News. A second coronavirus wave could happen, but it is not inevitable, the nation's top infectious disease expert said. Antibody tests used to determine if people have been infected in the past with COVID-19 might be run up to half the time, the CDC said. According to forecasts by Washington University researchers, by the beginning of August, the number of deaths in the U.S. could reach about 147,000 due to the restart of economic activities leading to increased human-to-human contact. All 50 states in the U.S. have restarted economic activities while restricting certain areas and businesses. The U.S. Capitol will begin removing restrictions against COVID-19 from May 29. The mayor of Washington, D.C., on May 27 announced that it will begin removing restrictions imposed on COVID-19 from Friday. During Phase 1 of the reopening process, the Capitol's residents are not restricted to indoor but must keep a minimum distance of 2 m and are recommended to continue using masks when going out. Non-essential retail businesses are allowed to operate with delivery services, not to allow customers inside the store. The Washington metropolitan area still does not allow events until the medical emergency ceases on July 24. The guidelines for university operations will be issued on July 1. The Washington metropolitan area, including the District of Columbia, Maryland, and Virginia, has now recorded more than 97,000 cases of COVID-19 and more than 4,100 deaths. 2. Update the world about COVID-19. To date, 215 countries and territories around the globe have recorded cases of the disease. U.S. passes 100,000 deaths. More than 350,000 people have died from the disease globally, including at least 100,442 people in the U.S., which has the highest number of deaths and cases around the world. Brazil has 411,821 people infected and 25,598 deaths. Russia has 379,051 people infected and 4,142 deaths. Spain has 283,849 people infected and 27,118 deaths. UK has 267,260 people infected and 37,460 people died. Italy had 231,139 people infected and 33,072 deaths. France has 182,942 people infected and 28,596 deaths. Germany has 181,895 people infected and 8,533 deaths. Turkey has 159,797 people infected and 4,431 deaths. India has 158,613 people infected and 4,540 deaths. China had 82,992 people infected and 4,634 deaths. Canada has 87,519 people infected and 6,765 deaths. Saudi Arabia has 78,541 people infected and 425 people died. Chile had 82,289 people infected and 841 deaths. Mexico has 78,023 people infected and 8,597 deaths. 3. Japanese news. The mayor of KCVC City in southwestern Japan warned of the risk of the second wave of coronavirus infection in this city. The city recorded a total of 22 new infections between the previous Saturday and Wednesday. Of these, 17 remain unclear. Speaking to the press on Thursday, Mayor Tadahashi Kenji said that the city would definitely have a second widespread infection. He pledged his efforts to bring the city through this crisis with awareness. General that the bad situation is still ahead. Mayor Tadahashi said that out of 22 new patients there were 12 elderly people. He pledged to carefully examine the patient's recent activities to prevent the development of infection clusters in elderly facilities. 4. Korean news. South Korea on May 28 reported an additional 79 new cases, including 68 infections in the community, the highest since April 5, bringing the total number of COVID-19 cases nationwide to 11,344, according to Korea Times newspaper, causing concern about the second wave of COVID-19 in this country. Most new cases were recorded at a logistics facility of Kaopeng Group, one of South Korea's largest online shopping companies in the city of Busan, west of Seoul. To date, a total of 69 confirmed cases are associated with this facility. About 4,100 employees and those arriving at the facility have isolated themselves, with more than 80% of them tested, according to South Korean Deputy Health Minister Kim Gang-lip. Last time South Korea was seen as a global model of COVID-19 containment and the beginning of limited relaxation. However, the country is recording an increase in infections again when life returns to normal. The emergence of new outbreaks has raised concerns about the second wave of outbreaks in the country, according to AFP news agency. Unlike many other countries, South Korea did not apply strict blockade orders to prevent outbreaks. However, officials say that if the number of infections continues to increase, they may consider issuing new guidelines. 5. UK news. The British Embassy in Pyongyang temporarily closed on May 27. All diplomats are now leaving North Korea, Ambassador Crooks confirmed on Twitter on the morning of May 28. In a statement, the Foreign Ministry said the decision was made because North Korea restricted entry and prevented Britain from rotating personnel and maintaining embassy operations. The announcement stressed that Britain will continue to maintain diplomatic relations with North Korea and will seek to re-establish its presence in Pyongyang as soon as possible. According to the BBC UK, no one understands this suffering like Mrs. Agaran, a pediatrician in the UK who has been deaf since the age of 2. I could hear a word or two, but it was so random and incomprehensible. When someone was wearing a mask, I could not read the speech and could not observe the emotional expressions on their faces. It takes all the basic bases to understand them, Mrs. Agaran told the BBC. Recognizing these difficulties, charities and manufacturers have sought solutions. One of them is named Main, Hand in Hand, an organization dedicated to helping the deaf and the deaf in northern France. 6. Russian news. On May 27, Russian President Vladimir Putin noted that the capital of Moscow, the epicenter of an acute respiratory infection in COVID-19 in the country, successfully prevented the worst scenario when the city government is considering easing strict blockade measures for days. Moscow has implemented a blockade order since March 30, with citizens only being allowed to leave their homes to buy basic supplies or to do essential work with a permit. Russia is the third largest outbreak in the world. Over the past 24 hours, the country recorded 8,338 new infections, bringing the total to 370,680 cases, including 3,968 deaths, an increase of 161 cases. 7. Indian news. The medical situation in India is likely to fall into crisis in the current scorching weather. The heat of up to 50 degrees Celsius in some places will put a burden besides the COVID-19. In the heat, 1.3 billion Indians are also facing serious water shortages. India is ranked 10th among countries with COVID-19 cases worldwide, with 150,000 people infected with coronavirus as of May 27. Of these, 4,500 have died. 8. Vietnam news. Vietnam, there are 49 more cases being treated. According to an update from the Ministry of Health, up to May 28, Vietnam did not register any new cases. The total number of positive cases with COVID-19 was 327, of which a total of 187 cases were immediately. The total number of close contacts and entry from epidemic areas being monitored for isolation health were 8,869, of which 49 were concentrated in hospital isolation. Concentrated isolation at other facilities is 7,008. Home isolation residence is 1,812. As of this morning, 278 cases have been cured. There are still 49 cases being treated at health facilities. Among the COVID-19 patients who are undergoing medical treatment and monitoring at health facilities, currently there are 6 patients with a negative first test result and 17 patients with a negative result 2 or more times. 9. Brazilian news. Brazil is currently the second largest outbreak in the world, with a total of 411,821 cases and 25,598 deaths. The city of Manaus, capital of the Amazon state, is one of the cities hardest hit by the COVID-19 pandemic in Brazil, according to AP. The Institute for Measurement and Evaluation of Health, IHME, at the University of Washington, USA, warned that the total number of deaths in Brazil could increase fivefold to 125,000 in early August. Experts also expect Brazil's GDP to fall by 6 to 10% this year and the unemployment rate to rise to more than 18%. 10. Spanish news. Spain is the 4th largest outbreak in the world, recording a total of 283,849 cases and 27,118 deaths this morning, up 5, 10 and 1 in the past 24 hours, respectively. On May 27, throughout buildings in the Spanish capital Madrid, the flag was raised as the government declared 10 official national mourning days to commemorate the nearly 30,000 deaths from the COVID pandemic. 19 funeral, the longest in Spanish history. The flag will be hung at public buildings and on Navy ships. 11. Italian news. Italy, the 6th largest outbreak of COVID-19 in the world, recorded 191 cases and 66 deaths, bringing the total to 231,139 and 33,072 cases, respectively. Minister Roberto Speranza warned of the risk of a second outbreak of COVID-19 in the country, but confirmed that Italy was prepared to respond to the new outbreak. Regarding the overcoming of the consequences of the COVID-19 epidemic, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen on May 27 announced the proposal of a €750 billion economic recovery fund for EU member states. Under the proposal, Italy will receive €81.8 billion in direct aid over the next 3 years, while Spain will receive €77.3 billion. However, to be approved, this proposal needs to win the support of member countries. There are still a number of countries in Europe that oppose this proposal. Our newsletter is now over. Thank you for always watching and supporting our videos. Knowledge of coronavirus, channel and travel for all fanpage respectfully, and see you in TH.